Hello YouTube, welcome back to a brand new video. This is the America First Pill channel. So I want to discuss a situation that has happened. Seems pretty pretty recent, very recent actually. So there's this panel called Religious Liberty Commission. It's like a committee for representing people of faith. And which is great. We need that representation. Well, a a woman named Carrie Prejean Bowler, was removed after accused anti-Semitism. Now, at least that's what is being said. So she claims she was removed for opposes Zionism, and as a prelude to the Iran war. Now, and the message appears to be the Trump administration. It says, on the behalf of President Trump, I am writing to inform you that your position as a member of Religious Liberty Commission is terminated effective immediately. Thank you for your service, from Mary Sprouse. Now, I kind of want to be in denial and believe that, did Trump really order this? Or was it someone in the administration, in that panel, that fired her? I mean, who really had the authority to do that, I guess? But it claims it was on the Trump behalf. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, that's a real bad look for Trump. So it shows right here that she was opposed, that she was removed for, again, opposing Zionism. What's Zionism? Well, depends on what you mean. It generally, if you mean secularly political, when it's like supporting Jews' right to self-determination, having their own land to live their culture, then generally Americans agree, usually. I think, for the most part, that's still, Americans really don't care if Jews have their own land. However, there is a form of Zionism that's changed, and it's kind of a mild hybrid version of theology and political, and it's the belief that the modern state reestablished 1948 Israel is the same Israel of the Bible, and that these Jews are the same Jews of the Bible, and that they are the still original descendants of Abraham. So she believes that Catholic teaching actually teaches, and I think the Lutheran Church teaches that too. I'm a Lutheran, I know that. I mean, being a Lutheran for my whole life, the Lutheran does teach the same stuff, and so does the Orthodox Church, but the Catholic Church teaches that, that Christians are actually the descendants of Abraham, because it's not a physical race but a spiritual, that we are all the descendants of Abraham when we are in Christ, because Christ, we're all crafted in together into Christ. So Gentile Jews, Gentile Christians, and Messianic Jews, they all agree that Jesus is the fulfilled promise that was fulfilled by Abraham there. We are, that he fulfilled, because Abraham prophecy there, that we are all the descendants. So it's not a blood race and God doesn't blood race. So Catholics, and I reject that. I tend to agree with that. I come to agree with that more. That doesn't mean that God doesn't have a plan for Jews, or he's given up on them, or replaced them, which evangelicals often believe. If you believe that, then you essentially replace them, and that's not what I believe in. I believe there could be a conversion. There will be a conversion one day, but it's still because we're under the new covenant. Because it didn't replace the old covenant, but it's merged together because of Jesus. So anyway, so she believes that's historical teaching, and she got removed from saying that. And so, the Catholic Church obviously is not too happy with that, and which I understand. I mean, she seems to me she was just exercising her beliefs, and she just got removed for having that. Now, unless there's something we're missing, there's always two sides of the story, they say, but this is what the Catholics are responding. We are very disappointed that the Trump administration has officially removed Carrie Prejean from the Religious Liberty Commission. We understand that there may be disagreements among those on the commission who do not profess the Catholic faith. However, the very few purpose of the commission is to allow differing points of view, which means you're going to have different theological views. You're not always going to agree on certain theological concepts. So Carrie's position on Zionism, which is the Catholic view, is not an anti-Semitic position, while all followers reject hatred of any kind, including toward Jewish people. Anti-Zionism is not the same as anti-Semitism, okay? Tend to agree, but that's unfortunate. You can't really say that out loud without being labeled. So we at Catholics for Catholics also stand with Jewish Americans who take offense at being called second-class Jews, of course, simply for being America first. In fact, younger voters in the United States increasingly sympathize with the Catholic view on Zionism. And not younger evangelicals also are becoming less Zionist as well. It's largely a generational gap. So as they replace patriotism, reason, and common sense, ironically, Carrie's courageous stance only amplified her voice and that she stood for her Catholic beliefs. So, of course, she was accused of basically trying to push a political agenda, which is why she was fired and was causing a division. So, I yeah, that's a problem, and it's not a good look on Trump. Now, I don't here's one thing. Did he fire out of pressure? I mean, who actually fired her? Apparently this came from Trump, and it doesn't sound like Trump. It's the claim that he ordered it, but I mean, the only thing I can think of, did he get caved to fire her? Because, I mean, think about it. He had a lot of people, he had a lot of lobbyists, pressures, and hate to say it, listen, I like Trump, but he has a lot of people in his administration that he appointed that are loyal Zionists, that are really loyal to Israel. And a lot of people in his administration do not allow people to differ at all on that ideology. And that is fact. And that's why, Trump has gotten a lot of flack on this. So, I mean, if this is the case, I don't know if there's going to be a lawsuit, but this could be possible religious discrimination for being fired for her having a religious view. Because it is a religious view, not just political, but they accuse her of being a political agenda. So it seems to me some people didn't like her views, and Trump was pressured to fire her, at least from this. So, so I don't know. Tucker Carlson has going to interview her now. I think I saw something on X about a potential interview being set up to talk with her. So that's going to be interesting. So I don't know, but obviously she has come out and she has herself on a video basically saying, after she was fired, she basically is not sorry at all because she stood for her beliefs. And of course, she kind of has an issue with how the war in Gaza's been handled, and she has her opinions on it. She seems to sympathize more with Gaza, which is a no-no in the administration. I mean, you can support Gaza without being pro-Hamas. There's a difference, but apparently the administration does not allow that. They don't separate the two, and that's a problem. So, but either way, even if you disagree with her, and this is a panel, she had a right to her beliefs. And in a country where it's not 100% Catholic or Protestant, there's different denominations, firing her because she had a different view on theology, to me, it's discriminatory. So unless there was a way she did it that was more causing an intentional divide, that's different, but that's not, from what I'm reading, that doesn't seem to be the case. And either way, I don't know if she's going to sue or not, and this could be religious discriminatory. It still could be. So I don't know. So here's one thing I want to add to this that's a little crazy. You have to understand. So, you know, persecution, this, if we're not safe under being able to worship, even under this administration that we voted for, we are in big trouble. No one president is going to save us from being discriminated against, because persecution's coming soon for Christians. It is. It's coming. And did you know that there has been, do you know what it's Noahide laws? And I believe they've been recognized by more, I think Bush Sr. recognized it. And I don't know if he signed it into law, which I don't know how he could do that without being struck down, but some say that he signed them into secret law and that they've technically been reintroduced by every president, even under Trump. Now, I don't know where that source comes up, but but either way, I know that there's a group of Jews called Chabad and Talmud, which is, it's not even real Judaism. It's more Gnosticism. It's not real Judaism, but Chabad would be more the really extreme Orthodox Jews. Even Israel had to, for now, restrain them, because I think they were the ones that wanted to bring back stoning, and they wanted to enact some of these laws that would interfere with other rights. So even Israel had to regulate that. So here's one thing to understand with that. A lot of these, I think we've seen them in Trump's administration. They have the big beards, the hats, the rabbi looking, what people think when you see a Jew, the rabbis. Anyways, when you look at the 7 Noah laws, we technically believe the concept of them as no worshiping idols, do not curse God, do not murder, do not commit adultery, sexual morality, do not steal. Of course, they believe do not eat flesh torn from a living animal. Okay, basically don't make sure the animals, eat established court of justice. So basically don't eat anything unclean, it seems like. Okay, well, so we definitely agree on the idols, do not curse God. Even if someone cursed God, we as Christians don't believe in going to harm someone if they say something offensive to God. As Christians, we believe that God is the judge. He punishes, we don't, because we're under grace. Christ does it. But under the law, it's true, and you look in Leviticus, there were civil laws that they would be put to death for these things. Now, for certain crimes and certain behaviors. So, in concept, we agree, do not worship idols. As Christians, we already believe we should not bow to any idol. Anything that is to Christ. God is a jealous God. He's a jealous God. Do not curse God. Well, yeah, we shouldn't blasphemy. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. So here's one thing to understand as well. So while we agree with the concept, Jews have a different philosophy, though. They don't believe that Jesus is God, and they believe that Christians are idolaters. And blasphemers. I mean, they thought Jesus was a blasphemer. They thought that they also the Pharisees, the Sadducees, that colluded with the Roman government to have Jesus crucified. You also have the same and also blasphemy laws. So they also thought, Jesus was committing blasphemy, so they think we're doing the same thing. So if they were ever established, did you know that would mean Christians would get their heads cut off? I think the punishment is beheading. Because they believe worshiping Jesus is idolatry. They don't recognize that. They see that as blasphemy. So this is like their Sharia law. we were against Sharia law. I am against Sharia law of Islam. Well, this is like Jewish version of Sharia law. If that was established, but I think that's more likely to be established than Sharia law is, because they I mean, this will be the thing to take out Christians, basically. So this illusion we have religious freedom. So seeing this Catholic woman be ousted makes you wonder, is there persecution coming? And will there be Christians that get killed for saying obvious scripture? Will we either be killed or go to jail for saying the obvious truth? Now, we have maybe disagreements on theology, but is it, even if you disagree with their theology, is it acceptable for them to be killed or go to jail if it's different? I don't believe that. So I, as a Christian who's Lutheran, they consider us Protestants, I stand with her as a Catholic. Even though she's Catholic as a Lutheran, I still stand as a brother, being her my sister in Christ, that she stood for her beliefs and didn't cave to pressure. And the fact that, and she sounded like she was being almost pressured to apologize for saying what she believed to be sincerely true. It's not really up to them to decide what was correct when it's her beliefs. So, I don't know. So again, there's still maybe more that came out. This is relatively fresh. I have to listen to what she tells Tucker Carlson, but that's a bad look on the Trump administration and the religious committee. I mean, if she's a commission, how do you fire someone when it's obvious they're going to have differences? I don't understand that. I don't know. That's the problem. And the problem is, I don't want. And I heard there was a attack on there was a shooting today on a Jewish temple today in Michigan. I think it was a shooting. I mean, again, I condemn anti-Semitism. It's obvious. Any hate to any group of people is wrong. It's sinful. I'm not going to single out any group. It's wrong no matter who does it, and no matter who is against. It's wrong to do that to any group. So I just hope that, and I hope we don't let this pressure on anti-Semitism, let the deep state use it to basically take away all the rights away, because they want to use anti-Semitism. I feel like it's becoming like a BLM, their version of BLM, but only for Jews. JLM, where they call everything anti-Semitic. They go after everyone but the actual anti-Semites, but they just go to punish people who question them. So if they don't like your theology, you just question a little bit, they persecute you and stuff, and it could lead to jail or killed. And it's getting bad out there, and we cannot let them use this cause to take away our freedom, because I think they might. And I feel like it's headed that way, and I think there's definitely efforts to do that. There's already been efforts. It hasn't passed yet, but it's a problem. And we must not sacrifice free speech, religious liberty, for any sacrifice of liberty just in the name of something. So anyway, that's all I have, but I thought I'd let you know the story. I'll link something down below, a source to this, so you guys can read and then determine for yourself or not. But if you like this video, please like. And if you like this channel, please subscribe over notifications. If you feel to comment, want to comment, I guess, do you think she was wrongfully do you think she was persecuted? Was she wrong for her beliefs? Should she have been removed? I don't know. Let me know what you think if you feel the need to respond. So anyway, America First Pill Channel out.